Picture this. You're 75 years old, playing with your grandchildren in the backyard. You take a small stumble, the kind that would have barely registered when you were younger. But instead of just brushing yourself off, you hear a sharp crack. Your hip is broken, and your life is about to change forever. Now, imagine a different scenario. You're the same age, but you've spent the last 20 years feeding your bones exactly what they need. That same stumble, you bounce right back up, maybe with a small bruise, but your bones are rock solid. The difference between these two futures isn't luck, it's the food choices you make starting today. What if I told you that there are specific foods, backed by decades of research, that can make your bones stronger than they were 10 years ago? What if I told you that some cultures have virtually eliminated osteoporosis using nothing but traditional foods? Today, I'm going to share the exact blueprint for building unbreakable bones naturally, and it starts in your kitchen. The bone crisis. What's really happening inside your body? Before we dive into the miracle foods, let me paint a picture of what's happening inside your bones right now. Most people think of bones as solid, unchanging structures, like the wooden frame of a house. But the truth is, your bones are more like a bustling construction site, constantly being torn down and rebuilt every single day. Think of your bones as a bank account. Every day, you're making deposits and withdrawals of bone tissue. When you're young, you're making more deposits than withdrawals. Your bone bank account is growing. But as you age, especially after 30, the withdrawals start to exceed the deposits. If this continues without intervention, you eventually go bankrupt. That's osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a common disease defined primarily by a low measured bone density, which is associated with an increased risk of fragility fractures. Low calcium intake and vitamin D deficiency seem to be positively correlated with the prevalence of osteoporosis. Here's the shocking reality. Osteoporosis affects over 200 million people worldwide, and every 3 seconds, someone suffers an osteoporotic fracture. But here's the incredible news. This isn't inevitable. The foods I'm about to share with you can literally reverse bone loss and build stronger bones at any age.
The Calcium Foundation, building your bone bank account. Let's start with the most famous bone nutrient, calcium. But here's what most people get wrong. It's not just about how much calcium you eat, it's about how much your body can actually use. NOAF recommends that women age 50 and younger get 1,000 milligrams of calcium from all sources daily, and that women age 51 and older get 1,200 milligrams. For men, NOF recommends 1,000 milligrams of calcium daily for those age 70 and younger, and 1,200 milligrams for men age 71 and older. But here's the fascinating part. Your body can only absorb about 500 milligrams of calcium at one time. So if you're chugging a big glass of milk, hoping to get all your calcium in one go, you're actually wasting most of it. It's like trying to pour a gallon of water through a funnel. Most of it just spills over. The smart calcium strategy. Dairy powerhouses. Think of dairy as your calcium savings account with automatic deposits. 1 cup of milk provides about 300 milligrams of highly absorbable calcium. But here's the secret. The calcium in dairy comes packaged with other bone-building nutrients, like phosphorus and protein, that help your body use it more effectively. Greek yogurt is even better. It's like calcium with a bonus. Not only does it provide 200 to 300 milligrams of calcium per serving, but the probiotics in yogurt actually help your body absorb calcium better. It's like having a personal assistant for your digestive system. Plant-based champions. For those avoiding dairy, fortified plant milks can be just as effective. Fortified soy milk, almond milk, and oat milk often contain even more calcium than regular milk, sometimes up to 450 milligrams per cup. The key word here is fortified. Make sure you're buying versions with added calcium. Green leafy gold mines. Here's where things get really interesting. Dark leafy greens like kale, collard greens, and bok choy contain calcium that's actually absorbed better than the calcium in milk. A cup of cooked kale provides about 180 milligrams of calcium, but your body absorbs about 50% of it, compared to only 30% from milk. Think of leafy greens as calcium with a multivitamin attached. They also provide magnesium, vitamin K, and other bone-supporting nutrients all in one package. The vitamin D connection, your calcium's best friend. Now, here's where most people's bone-building plans fall apart. They focus on calcium, but ignore vitamin D. This is like trying to build a house by delivering bricks to the construction site, but not hiring anyone to actually lay them. If you have osteoporosis, low bone density, or vitamin D deficiency, your healthcare provider may recommend a vitamin D supplement to bring you up to a healthy 25-hydroxy vitamin D level, which is generally agreed upon by medical societies to be between 30 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. Vitamin D is like the foreman at your bone construction site. Without it, calcium just sits around uselessly, instead of getting incorporated into your bone structure. Research shows that without adequate vitamin D, you only absorb about 10 to 15% of the calcium you eat. With optimal vitamin D levels, that jumps to 30 to 40%. Fatty fish, the vitamin D superstars. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, and tuna are like vitamin D powerhouses on a plate. A 3.5-ounce serving of salmon provides about 360 to 700 IUs of vitamin D, depending on whether it's wild or farmed. But here's the bonus. These fish also provide omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation in your bones, creating a better environment for bone building. Think of fatty fish as a 2-in-1 bone builder. They provide the vitamin D to help calcium absorption and the anti-inflammatory compounds to create optimal bone-building conditions.
The mushroom magic. Here's something most people don't know. Certain mushrooms are one of the few plant sources of vitamin D. UV-exposed portobello mushrooms can provide up to 400 IU of vitamin D per cup. Maitake mushrooms naturally contain vitamin D with about 1,123 IU per cup. Mushrooms are like nature's vitamin D factories. When they're exposed to UV light, they produce vitamin D just like your skin does in sunlight. Fortified foods, the reliable backup. Many cereals, plant milks, and other foods are fortified with vitamin D. While not as potent as natural sources, they provide a consistent, reliable way to boost your vitamin D intake. Think of fortified foods as your vitamin D insurance policy. The vitamin K2 secret, the missing link in bone health. Now we're getting to the nutrient that most people have never heard of, but that could be the game changer for your bone health. Vitamin K2. If calcium is the building material and vitamin D is the foreman, then vitamin K2 is the architect that makes sure everything goes in the right place. Natto, the traditional Japanese fermented soybean and a rich source of vitamin K2, could reduce bone loss in postmenopausal women by as much as 80%, says research from Japan. Let me explain why this is so revolutionary. A 2022 meta-analysis of 16 studies in 6,425 postmenopausal women found that those taking vitamin K2 supplements had a positive effect on bone mineralization and increased bone strength. The natto miracle. Natto is a traditional Japanese fermented soybean dish that's absolutely loaded with vitamin K2. One serving provides about 850 micrograms of vitamin K2. That's more than most people get in an entire week from other foods. The research on natto is mind-blowing. It can reduce bone loss by up to 80% in postmenopausal women. Now, I'll be honest, natto is an acquired taste. It's sticky, stringy, and has a very unique flavor. But think of it as medicine that happens to be food. Many people find that mixing it with rice, adding some soy sauce, or blending it into a smoothie makes it much more palatable. Cheese, the delicious K2 source. Here's some good news for cheese lovers. Certain cheeses are excellent sources of vitamin K2. Daily intake of 57 grams Jarlsberg cheese has been shown to increase the total serum osteocalcin, TOC. Hard cheeses like Jarlsberg, aged Gouda, and Edam are particularly rich in vitamin K2. The aging process allows bacteria to produce high levels of this bone-building vitamin, and 1 ounce serving of aged Gouda provides about 75 micrograms of vitamin K2. Think of aged cheese as calcium and K2 working together in perfect harmony. The calcium provides the building blocks, and the K2 makes sure they end up in your bones instead of your arteries. Egg yolks from pasture-raised chickens. The vitamin K2 content in eggs depends entirely on what the chickens eat. Eggs from pasture-raised chickens can contain 10 times more vitamin K2 than conventional eggs. The yolk is where all the K2 lives, so don't throw it away. Organ meats, the nutrient powerhouses. I know organ meats aren't popular in Western culture, but they're absolute treasure troves of bone-building nutrients. Chicken liver provides vitamin K2 along with vitamin D, calcium, and other bone-supporting nutrients. If you can't stomach organ meat straight, try mixing small amounts into ground meat dishes or pâtés. The leg strength connection. Why strong bones need strong muscles. Before we dive into the other bone-building nutrients, let me address something that's absolutely crucial but often overlooked: the connection between bone health and leg strength. You might be wondering, why are we talking about muscles in a bone health video? Here's the fascinating truth. Your bones and muscles are like dance partners, and when one gets weak, the other follows. The hidden crisis: why even healthy seniors lose leg strength. Even if you're eating perfectly and living a healthy lifestyle, you might notice your legs aren't as strong as they used to be. This isn't your imagination, and it's not just about getting older. There's actually a scientific explanation for what's happening. Starting around age 30, we lose about 3 to 8% of our muscle mass each decade, and this accelerates dramatically after age 60. But here's what's really shocking. We lose muscle strength even faster than we lose muscle mass. You can lose up to 30% of your leg strength between ages 60 and 80, even if you're relatively active. Think of your leg muscles as the bodyguards for your bones. When your muscles are strong, they absorb shock, provide stability, and actually stimulate bone growth through the mechanical stress they create. When your muscles weaken, your bones lose this protection and stimulation.
The protein crisis nobody talks about. Here's something that will surprise you. The recommended daily protein intake for seniors is actually higher than for younger adults, but most seniors eat less protein as they age. This creates a perfect storm for muscle loss. The current recommendation is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, but research shows that seniors need closer to 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram to maintain muscle mass. For a 150-pound person, that's about 80 to 110 grams of protein daily, much more than most people realize. But here's the crucial part. It's not just about total protein, it's about getting the right types of protein at the right times. Your muscles need all 9 essential amino acids to rebuild themselves, and some amino acids are particularly important for leg strength. The leucine secret for leg power. Leucine is like the ignition key for muscle protein synthesis. It literally turns on your body's muscle-building machinery. Research shows that older adults need about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal to stimulate muscle building, compared to only 1.5 to 2 grams for younger people. The best sources of leucine for leg strength are Greek yogurt, 2.5 grams per cup; eggs, 1 gram per large egg, so you need 3 eggs; chicken breast, 2.5 grams per 3-ounce serving; cottage cheese, 2.4 grams per cup, salmon, 2.2 grams per 3-ounce serving. Think of leucine as the foreman at your muscle construction site. Without enough of it, all the other building materials just sit around unused. The timing strategy that changes everything. Here's a game changer that most people don't know. When you eat protein matters just as much as how much you eat. Your muscles can only use about 25 to 30 grams of protein at one time for muscle building. Eating more than that in one meal doesn't give you extra benefit. It's like trying to pour more water into a glass that's already full. The smart strategy is to spread your protein throughout the day, 25 to 30 grams at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This keeps your muscle building machinery running all day long instead of just once. Foods that specifically target leg strength. Beyond just protein, there are specific nutrients that seem to have special benefits for leg muscle strength. Creatine from red meat and fish. Your leg muscles store creatine for quick bursts of power. While your body makes some creatine, getting it from food helps maintain those stores. Beef, salmon, and tuna are excellent sources. Beta-alanine from poultry. This amino acid helps your muscles work longer before getting tired. Chicken and turkey are rich sources, and this might be why people who eat poultry regularly tend to maintain leg strength better. Omega-3s for muscle recovery. The same omega-3s that fight inflammation in your bones also help your muscles recover from exercise. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines provide both high-quality protein and these recovery-boosting fats. The vitamin D muscle connection. Here's something incredible. Vitamin D receptors aren't just in your bones, they're also in your muscle tissue. Low vitamin D levels are directly linked to muscle weakness, particularly in the legs. Studies show that seniors with vitamin D levels below 30 ng per ml are significantly more likely to have poor leg strength and balance problems. This is why that fatty fish we talked about for bone health is doing double duty. It's building your bones and strengthening your muscles simultaneously.
The supporting cast, other bone-building nutrients. While calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin K2 are the stars of bone health, there's a whole supporting cast of nutrients that play crucial roles. Magnesium, the bone activator. About 60% of your body's magnesium is stored in your bones, where it helps convert vitamin D into its active form. Without adequate magnesium, even perfect calcium and vitamin D intake won't build strong bones. Dark chocolate, nuts, seeds, and leafy greens are excellent sources. Think of magnesium as the key that unlocks vitamin D's power. Without it, vitamin D remains inactive and useless for bone building. Protein, the bone framework. Your bones are about 50% protein by volume. Collagen provides the flexible framework that calcium minerals attach to. Without adequate protein, you're trying to build a house without a frame. Aim for high-quality protein sources like fish, eggs, lean meats, beans, and dairy. Vitamin C, the collagen builder. Vitamin C is essential for collagen production. Without it, your bone framework becomes weak and brittle. Citrus fruits, berries, bell peppers, and broccoli are excellent sources. Phosphorus, the calcium partner. Phosphorus works closely with calcium to build strong bones. The ideal ratio is about 1:1, which is naturally found in dairy products. Fish, eggs, and nuts are also good sources. Foods to avoid, the bone robbers. Just as important as eating bone-building foods is avoiding foods that actively steal calcium from your bones. Excessive sodium. High sodium intake forces your kidneys to excrete calcium. Processed foods, restaurant meals, and packaged snacks are the biggest culprits. For every 2,300 milligrams of sodium you consume, you lose about 40 milligrams of calcium. Cola and phosphoric acid. The phosphoric acid in cola actually pulls calcium out of your bones.
Studies show that women who drink cola regularly have significantly lower bone density than those who don't. Excessive caffeine. While moderate coffee consumption, 1 to 2 cups daily, isn't harmful, excessive caffeine can interfere with calcium absorption. Each cup of coffee causes you to lose about 6 milligrams of calcium. Alcohol. Excessive alcohol interferes with bone formation and increases bone breakdown. It also interferes with vitamin D metabolism and calcium absorption. The daily bone-building meal plan. Let me give you a practical framework for incorporating all these bone-building foods into your daily routine. Morning bone and muscle builder. Start your day with Greek yogurt topped with berries and nuts, plus 2 to 3 eggs. This gives you calcium, protein, including leucine for muscle building, vitamin C, and magnesium all in one powerful package. Add a piece of fatty fish like smoked salmon for vitamin D and muscle-supporting omega-3s. Midday powerhouse. A large salad with dark leafy greens topped with cheese, hard-boiled eggs, grilled chicken or salmon, and seeds. This combines calcium from greens and cheese, vitamin K2 from eggs and cheese, high-quality protein for muscle maintenance, and healthy fats that help vitamin absorption. Afternoon strength snack. A small piece of aged cheese with some dark chocolate and nuts, or cottage cheese with berries. This might sound indulgent, but you're getting calcium, vitamin K2, protein for muscle maintenance, magnesium, and antioxidants. Evening foundation. Dinner should include a protein source. Aim for 25 to 30 grams protein, preferably fish 2 to 3 times per week for bone and muscle benefits, steamed broccoli or other calcium-rich vegetables, and a small serving of natto if you can manage it, or a natto supplement. The protein at dinner is crucial for overnight muscle repair. Age-specific bone strategies. 20s and 30s, peak building phase. This is when you're building peak bone mass. Focus on getting adequate calcium, 1,000 milligrams daily, vitamin D, 600 to 800 IU, and plenty of weight-bearing exercise. The stronger your bones are at peak bone mass, around age 30, the better protected you'll be later in life. 40s and 50s, maintenance and muscle protection phase. Bone loss starts to accelerate, especially in women approaching menopause, and muscle loss also begins to accelerate. Increase calcium to 1,200 milligrams daily, boost vitamin D to 800 to 1,000 IU, add vitamin K2-rich foods, and crucially, increase protein intake to 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram body weight. This is also when weight-bearing exercise becomes crucial for both bones and muscles. 60s and beyond. Protection and strength preservation phase. Focus on preventing falls and fractures while maintaining both bone strength and leg muscle power. Continue with 1,200 milligrams of calcium daily, 800 to 1,000 IU vitamin D, emphasize vitamin K2, and increase protein to 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram body weight. The higher protein intake becomes critical for preventing the rapid muscle loss that can lead to falls and fractures. Common myths and misconceptions. Myth 1 is more calcium is always better. Truth: your body has a maximum absorption capacity. Taking massive doses of calcium can actually interfere with the absorption of other important minerals like magnesium and zinc. Myth 2: calcium supplements are just as good as food sources. Truth: calcium from food comes packaged with other bone-supporting nutrients and is generally better absorbed than isolated calcium supplements. Myth 3: you can't build bone after menopause. Truth: while bone loss accelerates after menopause, you can still build bone with proper nutrition and exercise, even into your 80s and 90s. Myth 4: dairy is the only good source of calcium. Truth: many plant foods provide well-absorbed calcium, and some cultures with very low dairy consumption have excellent bone health. Remember, it's never too early or too late to start building stronger bones. Whether you're 25 and building peak bone mass, 55 and dealing with the challenges of menopause, or 75 and focused on maintaining the strength you have, the right foods can make a dramatic difference. Your bones support everything you do in life. They allow you to hug your loved ones, chase your grandchildren, dance at weddings, and maintain your independence. Investing in your bone health today is investing in your future freedom and vitality. Start small, be consistent, and trust in your body's amazing ability to rebuild itself when given the right tools. Every calcium-rich meal, every serving of fatty fish, every bite of leafy greens is a deposit in your bone bank account. The future you, the one who stays active, independent, and fracture-free well into your golden years, is counting on the choices you make today. Make them count. Thanks for watching, and here's to your bone health. Remember to like this video if it helped you, subscribe for more natural health solutions, and share it with anyone who could benefit from stronger bones. Your skeleton will thank you for years to come.